remarkable lady, you know, because, I mean, we talked there in the little break that not only had you two, but in fact 3 religions.
I had 3 religions.
So far, that is.
Well, I'll have no more, I'll hardly. Unless you go Methodist. No, I was a Presbyterian, born and reared. And when I came to this country, I was too young to go to the Presbyterian church. It was 5 or 6 miles away. And there was no one to come with me. So I was sent over to the Protestant church mile over there across the fields. And I often milked the cows in the morning and left the milk and go in and get ready for church. And I'd be on the top of a hill when I'd hear the church bell ringing and be in time for church after. I could run out of hair. Not that I'm loving now, I can't run at all.
Looking back on it now and over all of these years, and you're gone 91, where would you say, what was the happiest part of your life to now?
Well, the happiest part of my life was just when I had my freedom and to do what I wanted to do. And I didn't say to go where I wanted to go, for I never was inclined to ramble or go. I was, when the old man died up here, he'd be a cousin of my mother's, and I spent 9 years with him. And when he died, he was giving me his place, that big farm. It's a broken down house up there now. And that goes 110 acres to it. And he was giving me his place. And he brought me up on the way, making his will. And he says to Nanny, he says, if I give you the place, he says, will you stay in it? Well, look, says I, Uncle Pete, says I, why wouldn't I stay in it? I'd be too glad to get it. But what about me mother? She was there back and forward, up and down in the 2 places, and yes, he says, if I have money, he says, in the bank, and give it to her. She was a woman that wouldn't hold money. She was a woman that would go out and spend whatever she'd have. But she says she wouldn't hold money. Well, says I, I'm young, says I can go out and earn my living, says I, go somewhere and earn my living. I was intending to go to America where I had friends, cousins like, and I thought maybe I'd get away out to America and no. So he left the place to my mother, and he left me a couple of £100. So I had a few £100 for years and years and years before I ever got it. Donkey's years. I was married and had done many children before I got it.
Right, did it grow?
It didn't grow. Not whatever it grew, it lost, because they didn't want to give it to me. I suppose on account of the religion. When I could have been married to the best of Protestant men round the district. I don't deny it. I could have been married to 2 or 3, and the money was held up, thrown and handed out. Hadn't out. The place went into law, and it took a lot out of it. But no matter, they should have handed it out, and they never gave me a penny of interest on it for years. I don't know now how many years. I was married when I got. I know the lassie that's here is the youngest child, all but one, and she was here when I got the money, and I had to go to law to get it. I bought a piece of land. We had no land. We were all taking grass and all this, and we had no land, so there was a wee place over here to be sold, and they said we'd buy it, and my father bid again it. But we got it, and has it, and I said that's where my money was going to go, so I had to get the money to pay for the land then.
Okay. There's 2 things, and let's see how we go about this one. The first one, obviously, is we're back here talking about religion. We seem to have drifted away. We're back into the religious end of things now, if you like. It's not a religious affairs program, but could I ask you, just on a personal note, do you believe, do you feel that perhaps there are far too many religions, or are there not enough?
There's too many orders, too many religious sects, like, too many religious, what would you call, there's Protestants, there's Catholics, there's dissenters, there's everyone, and sure everyone thinks they're right. Is there only one God over us all? That's what I claim, and I always maintained there was one God over all, We're supposed to be. He has a busy time of it. So he has.
Busy.
He has a busy time of it.
He's busy. It's a good job he hasn't got land anyway.
Well,
Or
the farms he has is a very small, sure, only 6 foot by 3.
Exactly, yeah.
That's all the land. That's all the land.
Exactly. The other thing that I was trying to establish is, and that is that from Rockcurry to here, in this part of County Meath, what brought about that move many moons ago?
Well, my mother had they were cousins, and they were the first renters that came to the country, and they had bought a piece of land up here. They came from Armagh, and they bought a piece of land up there, and it was only 12 acres. So of course they were awful ambitious, and there was 2 sons and 2 daughters in it. One girl went away and married to America and married and went away, and the other one stayed at home and never married. But she turned on beer in her later years. But the 2 lads lived together there with the father, and they expanded and expanded and expanded. And there's buildings up there that you could not know how they were built. And that was all through from Dundalk with a pair of horses and carts. And they go over with their carts to Dundalk and draw home the sand and stuff. It's not like now. There was nothing of that about here that time. And they bring that home, and they built all them. And the way they earned their money, they made that road out there and another road over there, and they were only bypasses, and they took them roads and they made the roads. And they had a granary loft above on the loft, and often 8 men slept in that loft at night. That was now my time. Well then, the old Peter Rouncy died not long before the first son, and the first son took some appendix, I think, and he died in Dublin Hospital anyway with this. And just that day week, his sister fell down the stairs and broke her neck. So that left only one of the lot. So the one of the lot, my mother had been back and forward to it as a young lassie, and she was still at home, but she had the flock of children. And she came, he wrote down up to my mother, would she come down and stay with him? She was out of that mind 2 deaths after going out of the house, and he never was the boss. He was the underkeeper, but he wrote up to her, sent up orders to see would my mother go up and stay with him for a fortnight till he'd get a housekeeper. So there was a baby, and it was only a fortnight or 3 weeks old, and my mother took on to go up to stay with him till he get somebody, and she brought me with her to mind this baby, and that's how I came to Killagriffe, to mind a child that was a fortnight old. So of course it went on that I was to be sent to school, but I never was sent to school. I was to the school the day after. I got into this and that, and the uncle got to trust me, that he could trust me with anything, like outside cattle, sheep, this, that, and he was a great man with doing that. He thinks there was 2 men come home one morning, and they said there was a sheep way up the hills there that couldn't yen. So he called me in, he was in bed. He was he wasn't old, he wasn't as old as me anyway. But he called me up and he says, now Nanny, he says to me, you do what I'll tell you, and don't say, come back to me and say you can't do it. He was better than a father, far better than many a father. Don't come back to me, he says, and tell me you can't do it, for I know you can. So he sent me with the 2 men way up to the top of the hill there to this sheep which was yearning, and I took 2 lambs from her, 2 living lambs. What the men was doing wasn't they're pulling a leg of each lamb, goaty enough. The 2 lambs was coming like together, and the men were bringing a leg of every lamb, and sure that was impossible. But I got to know that I found out where the separation was. I had a small hand, and he had me taught, and I knew what to do, and I got the lamb, and I got 2 living lambs. I knew you'd do it, he says, if you wanted. He was better than a father to me.
You see, not only were you a farmer, but you were also a blacksmith, if that's the right term to use for a lady, and a bit of a midwife in between.
Oh, I was everything then. I was everything that ever was known.
Did we talk about the Civil War? No, we did we?
Yeah, I mean the Civil War away. Oh, right, everything. Oh, the Civil War was right. Oh, the Civil War was a disgrace.